On the morning of December 1, 1948, a passerby strolling along Somerton Beach in Adelaide, Australia, noticed what seemed to be a man sleeping against the seawall. He was dressed sharply in a suit, polished shoes, but no hat, unusual for the time. When they drew closer, it became horrifyingly clear: the man was dead. What followed would become one of the most baffling mysteries in modern history. Authorities arrived quickly, yet the scene offered no easy answers. The man carried no wallet, no identification, and every single clothing label had been carefully cut away. There were no obvious signs of violence, no struggle, and the cause of death could not be determined. To investigators, it was as if this man had been deliberately erased from existence. Then came the chilling discovery. Hidden deep in a secret pocket sewn into his trousers was a tiny, rolled-up scrap of paper. On it were just 2 words: Tamám Shud. Persian for "It is finished." The words came from Omar Khayyám's Rubaiyat, a book of ancient poetry about fate, love, and death. The clue was eerie enough on its own, but when police traced it to a copy of the Rubaiyat found discarded in a nearby car, the mystery deepened. Inside that book was a woman's phone number, a strange note, and 5 lines of what appeared to be a coded message. A spy's cipher? A lover's code? To this day, the cryptic sequence has never been cracked. The phone number led detectives to a nurse known as Justin, who lived not far from Somerton Beach. When police showed her the dead man's plaster bust, witnesses claimed she nearly fainted. Yet when questioned, she denied knowing him at all. Still, her connection was impossible to ignore. Years earlier, she had given a copy of the Rubaiyat to an army officer, whose handwriting matched part of the cryptic text. That officer was linked to intelligence circles, fueling speculation that the Somerton Man was not an anonymous wanderer, but a Cold War spy, eliminated in silence. More strange evidence surfaced. A suitcase believed to be his was recovered at a nearby railway station. Inside were ordinary items: clothes, a screwdriver, scissors, but some had military-style modifications. Threads in the suitcase matched stitching in his clothing, confirming it was his. But still, there were no labels, no identifying marks, nothing to anchor him to a known identity. Even the autopsy brought more questions. His organs were strangely congested, his spleen enlarged, yet toxicology revealed no poison. Doctors suspected he had been poisoned by something rare and undetectable, the kind favored by spies of the era, but they could not prove it. For decades, the mystery only grew. Theories piled up. Was he a Russian spy sent to Australia during the tense opening years of the Cold War? Was he a jilted lover seeking one final meeting with Justin? Or was he an ordinary man who died in extraordinary, unexplained circumstances? With no name, no family, and no cause of death, the Somerton Man was buried under a headstone that read simply, "The Unknown Man." But the story did not end there. In 2022, more than 70 years later, authorities exhumed his body for DNA testing. The results pointed to a man named Charles Webb, an electrical engineer from Melbourne who disappeared in 1947. At last, the Somerton Man had a name. Yet even this revelation brought new mysteries. Why had Webb traveled to Adelaide? Why were all the labels removed from his clothes? What connection did he truly have to Justin and the cryptic code in the Rubaiyat? And perhaps most unsettling of all, how did he die, if not by poison or natural illness? Today, the Somerton Man remains a symbol of unanswered questions. Even with the power of modern science, his story refuses to close. The torn scrap of paper, the undeciphered code, the nurse's strange reaction, and the possibility of Cold War espionage all keep this case alive in the minds of investigators, true crime enthusiasts, and conspiracy theorists alike. More than 75 years later, the mystery of Somerton Beach endures, a haunting reminder that even in an age of technology and surveillance, some secrets remain buried in silence. And so, the story of the Somerton Man ends as it began, with paradox. He is both named and nameless, solved and unsolved, finished and unfinished. And until the last pieces of this puzzle fall into place, His death will continue to echo as one of the strangest and most disturbing mysteries in history.